Good afternoon and good afternoon to fellow South Africans. I think what we cannot deny is the fact that Minister Gordhan is acting against the will of the people and using the people's money to do so. We are saying he must abandon the entire review application. So what we have done as Build One South Africa is petitioning citizens to deliver a petition in Parliament and to the presidency requiring that, in fact, he cannot proceed with this. Because all the Constitution is asking him to do is that within 60 days, he must make sure hospitals, schools, and ultimately police stations have got alternative energy. This is a constitutional right that he has been tasked to fulfill, to make sure if you go to a hospital, the incubators don't fail because of load shedding, that a police station can continue to function, and that schools, kids can be educated. So his actions to me are actions of someone who's against the will of the people and in essence trying to break the Constitution. So that is the petition that we're asking South Africans to sign. Minister Gordhan and the government came and made the same argument in court. It was defeated because their basic long-term argument is to say, if you don't have load shedding, you are going to end up in a scenario where you can have a grid loss. I want to highlight just a couple of things. Firstly, the best way we can manage load shedding is to reduce demand. What an amazing opportunity with all the roof space that we have on schools, on hospitals, and on police stations to be able to augment and take them off the grid by putting solar panels to ensure that they never have interrupted power. So that would solve the load shedding issue given the decrease in demand. And secondly, as part of our 10-point plan, I proposed even to them that ultimately we need to build to own or systems where people can augment energy with solar, with gas, with nuclear, so that we don't have to have load shedding. It would seem that government is convinced that load shedding is the only way forward. And whilst load shedding is carrying on at the rate that it is, children are dying, people are not safe, and for most people, they are losing their jobs. So to me, I reject the argument with the contempt it deserves. And ultimately, I'm standing here saying, if Minister Gordhan wants to see us in court, we will continue this fight. And we will also make sure we mobilize South Africans to stand against this unconscionable, immoral decision to challenge the court judgment for them to simply comply with the Constitution. In my view, we have a government that's incapable of doing that. This is 15 years. It's not just even all the recent investigations. It's 15 years in the making. If you have a child who's under the age of 15, they've grown up in a South Africa where there's never been a time without load shedding. So let us be clear that we have an incapable government. Secondly, we must be clear as you highlight these issues that they've corrupted the state to a point where we should have been at the forefront of deploying resources to secure Eskom and ensure that our coal-powered power stations can deliver accordingly. We should have at this point have come up with alternative plans so that some of the hospitals and various places don't ever have to suffer load shedding. And that we have multiple ministers is an indicator of a government that's incapable, because right now no one will be ever held accountable. Is it Minister Gordhan? Is it Minister Mantashe? Is it local government? Is it Treasury? Nobody knows. And President Ramaphosa himself was part of the interministerial committee that sat and wanted to monitor the functioning of state-owned enterprises, and he himself failed. So let's be fair. Let's get a new government that will focus on delivering on this issue. And I'm convinced, as part of our 10-point plan, within 2 years, we could deliver the end of load shedding. It was obviously, and it's a moment too late, it could not have been done sooner. We cannot have people who are effectively committing sabotage, destroying the infrastructure of the country without money. Before we only just get to those people who need the army to police them, Andre de Ruyter testifies quite deliberately that he informed Minister Gordhan of the respective people who are committing crimes there. And he also testifies the fact that I would assume this information would have got to the president. Now, if we are serious about who else is sabotaging the interest of the country, those who are corrupt, whom this government knows about and fails to expose them, including Mr. de Ruyter, must actually face the criminal actions that should follow in breaking PRECA, and they must be held accountable. We cannot accept the fact that there's an executive that is sitting with people who are sabotaging the interest of the country at Eskom and no action is taken against them.